But remember what I said about everything selling? However much stock you think you're going to need, you need to double or triple it. When I ask new sellers or people after their first Q4, the main thing they always say is that they didn't have enough stock. Because stuff is flying off your storefront shelves, you're going to need more stock than you possibly think. Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. I'm a small town girl who took a big risk and quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the US in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew a 7-figure business, visited all the lower 48 states, bought a farm, and today I am still doing what I love to do, selling on Amazon while helping other sellers do it too. Each week, I will share Amazon tips and tricks and bring in guests to share their stories, expertise, and tips on the platforms that they use. Think of this as a sit down with your Amazon bestie where you can learn, ask, start, and grow your online selling business. Welcome to Your Selling Pod. Hey crew, and welcome back. On today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down all of the best ways you can start preparing for Q4 selling on Amazon. 2023 will be my 8th Q4 of selling on Amazon, and it truly is the most magical time of the year. If you don't know what Q4 is the fourth quarter. That's what it stands for. And it goes off of the retail calendar or company's fiscal calendar. So normal businesses will have, 4 quarters, just like, so January through March is Q1, April through June, Q2, and so on. So Q4 is those 3 months where the spending is the most. So we're talking October, November, and December when people are holiday shopping. And so it's a lot of businesses' best time of the year, and that includes us as Amazon sellers. Q4 is always the best time of the year. Truly, you can just sell during Q4 and make a ton of money, even if you don't sell the rest of the year. I mean, it's one business model. It's not how I do it, but you could make a lot of money just selling then, as long as you know what you're doing and how to sell on Amazon. In 2022, I made a outrageous to me goal of selling $100,000 in gross sales, and I wanted to bring home at least $30,000 of profit on those sales, which is kind of normal. A third of your sales should be your profit, right? But what I actually did was $168,000 in sales in just 3 months for a total of $44,000 of profit. That's $14,666 of profit a month, or even more fun way of looking at it, $478 of profit a day during those 3 months. So if that doesn't get you excited about Q4, I don't know what will. Just a quick rundown, because sometimes people don't totally understand, but I'm talking profit. That means after you take out my cost of goods, after you've taken out and paid Amazon their fees, you've all the shipping, everything, $44,000 of profit, again, from 3 months. And I'm a part-time seller. I've always sold part-time. I continue to sell part-time. So what more could you do if this was your full-time job, right? Okay, so hopefully that gets you excited for Q4. And now you're like, okay, I'm excited, but how do I prep? Coming up for Q4, I'm going to be having different podcast episodes to help you get started and prepped for Q4. Next week, I have 6-figure profit seller, Becky Stillman, and we are going to answer all of your questions. So stay tuned for that coming next week. Also coming up at the end of the month, the Q4 Bolo group is open. So I have a Q4 Bolo group. I do it every year. This will be my 3rd year now since I've started helping other sellers. I've got the regular Bolo group, which is open year round. And then I have this special Q4 group, which is open only during Q4. So it's opening a whole month earlier. It'll be open in August this year, where in previous years I opened it in September. So that means a whole extra month of getting to know other sellers, answering your questions, and preparing for Q4 right before it starts. That is going to be open August 27th. So join my email list or follow me here, and you will be the first to know when the doors open and you can join. It's an awesome community of sellers. I mean, not only are you getting bolos and what we're chasing down during Q4, but you're also getting this whole community of support to answer every question you possibly have about Amazon. There are no dumb questions. We don't know what we don't know, and you have to ask to get those answers. And if you're not asking in the correct group or community, you can often get some snarky and rude answers back. So this community is not like that. It's positive, encouraging. Sure, you can vent your frustrations at Amazon. We all do it. We all have them, or customers. Sometimes you get a bad customer, but you can do it in a safe place where you don't have to feel like you're going to get harped on if you ask a simple question and you're going to get an answer. So stay tuned. All of that is coming up in August. Now let's jump into some of the ways you can start preparing for Q4 right now. One of the number one things you can do right now is start getting ungated, whether that's with an invoice and placing an order with a supplier, or by asking to get auto ungated in different brands and categories. What you can do right now is sit down at your computer and start grabbing different brands and putting them in and requesting to get approved on Amazon. Literally grab your phone, grab your computer, whatever you need. Go into Seller Central, go add a product, and enter an ASIN. So what I would suggest is opening an Amazon tab and then your Seller Central tab. Search for the product on Amazon. So search for a Barbie toy, any Barbie toy, doesn't matter what it is. Enter that ASIN over in Seller Central. Again, add a product, and then it will tell you if you're approved or not automatically for selling in Barbie. I actually recommend doing this like every month while you are new, within your first 6 months to a year, because you can get auto approved in a lot. Anytime you're out scanning, I'm sure if you see my YouTube videos, I'm always saying this, ask for approval. Don't just take it as it's saying you can't sell it, as you can't sell it. You probably can sell it and get auto approved, but you won't know if you don't ask. So literally, if you sit down at your computer and do this, I'm going to tell you all of the brands that I got approved in the first 6 months or after 6 months of selling, brands and categories. So use this list as a jumping off point to go search Amazon, but literally search any products that you think you're gated in or that you might want to sell. Go ahead and enter them in Seller Central and ask for approval. If it asks for an invoice, you were not automatically approved. You would need to get an invoice to get ungated or check back in a couple months or a month, or it's going to say, congratulations, you can sell this brand, and there you go. You can sell it. Now, I'm going to drop this list in the show notes, so don't worry and think you have to write it down right now. But here are the brands that I was approved in after 6 months of selling. Barbie, Hot Wheels, Mega Bloks, Thomas and Friends, Hamilton Beach, those kitchen stuff, Disney Princess, Nickelodeon, Harry Potter, Spider-Man, Spin Master Games, PJ Masks, Play-Doh, Keurig, Skip Hop Baby, Leapfrog, Enchantimals, Setchel, it's those little plastic figurines. I don't know how to say it. Tommy Toys, Etch-a-Sketch, Manhattan Toys, the toy category in general, infant toy category, the topical category, dietary supplements category, pet supplies category, and the OTC category. Now, some of those categories have since been locked down because when I started was, 7 years ago. So they've like dietary supplements, OTC, they're going to ask for some FDA stuff to get ungated. I have all that information in my ungating guide for topicals on how you go about getting that. But just know, those categories are not just going to open to you anymore, but the toy category, infant category, topical category, that could actually open for you. But here's the thing. It's not too late to get ungated with an invoice if that's the route that you want to go. And actually, I would recommend it for things like Star Wars, Lego, some of the big toy brands, Marvel, WWE, Mattel. Not all of them open automatically over time. So some of them you are going to have to get an invoice either now or down the road if you want to sell those categories or brands. So how I normally recommend going about this is, when you're out scanning, anytime you see a brand that you want to sell, be it Olay, Neutrogena, whatever it is, make a note in your phone that you're gated in it. And but you're finding profit out there. Because a lot of people ask, what are the best brands to get ungated for in Q4? And it's not necessarily, it doesn't work like that, because what I find and I sell may be different than what you have in your area. I always give this example because it's a perfect example. So Becky and I both got ungated in Melissa and Doug toys. I paid for the products, got my invoice, all that stuff, right? I'm pretty sure I probably broke even or lost money on those toys that I ordered for ungating, which is just how it goes. You're trying to get ungated so you can make profit at retail. You're not necessarily going to make profit on your ungating order. However, I never until 2022, so I got ungated in 2018, not until 2022 did I finally find just one product by Melissa and Doug that made a profit. Becky, however, has been selling it for years. She finds products where she's sourcing that make profit in that brand, but I don't. So for me, it was kind of a throwaway and, useless ungating brand. I just went crazy and got ungated in all the brands I could think of. And that's not the best strategy because I could never sell anything by that brand because I could never find anything that was profitable. So that's why making a note when you're outsourcing your stores of what brands are gated is super important so that you're spending wisely when you do go to get that invoice. As I mentioned, I have ungating guides that can walk you through. They give you the suppliers to order from, how to set up your account at the different suppliers. The toy guide has 3 suppliers. The topical guide has 3 suppliers. So you can choose or do all of them. It's totally up to you. Those guides are for purchase at yoursellingguide.com if you want to go that route. You can get ungated really quickly. You can place your order, get your products, send your invoice pretty quickly. So it's not too late. I got ungated in grocery in October. So I still had all of November and December, the really high grocery selling, like holiday baking stuff. I could sell that stuff my first year because I got ungated in the grocery category and it was totally worth it. I'm sure you've heard me say it before, but I was kicking myself for waiting so long to get ungated. So you can get auto approved. Like I told you, I waited for toy. So I got ungated in a lot of toy, but that following year when I was still gated in a lot of the toys I was scanning, I went ahead and placed orders for ungating with an invoice. So that's number 1 tip to start getting ungated, either asking for approval or placing your orders so that you can have the widest variety of stuff to sell during Q4. Everything sells during Q4, literally everything. So not just toys, not just grocery, but my number 1 sellers last year were beauty products. So everything is going to sell. Customers are in that spending habit and mood. And so they are going to spend. So you want to have as much products as you possibly can in your storefront to get as much money as you can, right? You want to make that money during Q4. There's nothing quite like that sound of a new order coming through on your Amazon account. But do you know how much you're actually making on those orders? Your Selling Podcast is excited to partner with Sellerboard. Sellerboard is an accurate profit analytics for Amazon sellers as well as eBay. With just a quick login to the app or your dashboard on a desktop, you can see what your true numbers are for all of your Amazon orders by the day, week, or month. I love to use it to forecast out how I'm going to do that month and use it for my planning. Sellerboard doesn't just tell you your profit, though. They actually do so much more. So if you're creating a private label listing or you're making your own bundles, you can use Sellerboard to get reviews for your product pages. Sellerboard is a robust profit analytics tool, and I use it every day in my Amazon business. You can try Sellerboard yourself, connect it to your Amazon or eBay accounts, and see how it works for you. Get 2 months free by going to yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit. Again, that's yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit. Try Sellerboard today and get the true profit picture of how your business is doing. The next thing you do to prepare for Q4 right now is to go through your current supplies, both for FBA and FBM, and start placing orders and stocking up. Just like everything sells during Q4, you're going to need the prep items to prep all those items that you're going to send in. So that means you need to go through your poly bags. Order more than you think you need, because not only is it the end of the year, so everything we're buying for our business is a tax write-off. So you're going to just write off all those expenses anyways, but you want to make sure that you have all your supplies. So I go through my supplies right now in August and I bulk up, order all the stuff I'm going to need, more than I possibly think I need. And then again in December, before the end of the year, I'll do another bulk order just to get the most for my tax write-offs to help limit my tax liability for the year. And also just to have more supplies. It never is a bad thing. But I can't tell you, if I ran out of poly bags, it would be a week before I was able to get them because Amazon doesn't deliver next day out here in rural Oklahoma. You might get them next day, so it's not a big deal. But for people like me, I got to plan ahead because I don't want to sit on my products and wait for a poly bag to show up, right? So it's important to have all your supplies, especially for FBM, because there's nothing worse than running around town trying to look for a box or an envelope for an order that has to go out today. While you're bulking up on poly bags, I would actually recommend getting the biggest size that you can possibly find. So the website I Love Supplies, they have poly bags that are pretty big, but there are some massive toys during Q4, and you're probably going to want to sell them when you scan them. Because the thing about big toys or heavy items is that not a lot of sellers want to do it. They don't want to, package that big item. They don't want to send the heavy item. So having poly bags that fit those big toys is really crucial. If in doubt, you can go ahead and buy a clear recycle bag. So it's got to be a clear bag, and they're normally called recycle bags. So if you go to the store and pick them up, or I ordered mine off of Amazon, it's just a Glad recycle bag. I cut that drawstring off the top, and then you have to get the suffocation warning stickers. Again, you can get them on Amazon. All my supplies are always linked in every show notes. I get all my supplies from Amazon. So you can go ahead and grab those suffocation warning stickers. You just put the item, the giant toy, in the clear bag, tape it up, and then put that suffocation warning sticker on it, and you're good to go. I really like the 24 by 24 poly bags, but even some toys are bigger than that. So you might want to grab those trash bags just in case. Any of the tools that you've been wanting to get, or you've been thinking about, or even the softwares that you're like, man, I do want to kind of try that. Now is the time. Get those software trials going, or so that you're comfortable with it during Q4. For me, I don't know what I would do without Sellerboard. Y'all know I love Sellerboard. It is the easiest way to track your numbers. And if you don't know what's going on in your business, you don't know what's going on in your business. And that is not a good place to be for a business owner. So having those numbers readily available, seeing what's selling, and better yet, seeing how much profit is making will really help you during Q4 when you're just going into store, replen. That is mostly what Q4 is. It's replenning the stuff that's selling and getting as much of it as you can. So you need to know, just because it sold doesn't mean you made a profit. So you need to know those numbers. So whatever the tool is, if it's a box resizer, a Scotty peeler, more labels, I put those round sticker labels on all my beauty products so that they're fully sealed and the customer doesn't think they're open. Whatever that is, the tool or software, get it now and get used to it and start using it. Okay, FBM. Believe me when I tell you, you're going to want to FBM. You can make so much money FBMing. So get used to it now. Put a couple orders up and just see how it goes so you can get used to it, but also stock up on those supplies. So I use Uline to get my boxes because they are the cheapest way to get them shipped to me. They come from Dallas. They come next day. Other people like the Boxery. There's Granger. I think you can go pick them up if you have them in your area. So you need plain boxes. You can't be shipping stuff that, the Walmart boxes we use for FBM that say small, medium, large. You cannot use those, or should not use them for FBM, because if a customer should happen to mention when contacting Amazon for whatever reason that it came in a Walmart box, you're going to get shut down for drop shipping, because drop shipping is not allowed on Amazon. And even though you didn't drop ship, you just happened to send it in that box. If the customer tells Amazon, you could get shut down, and that's a whole thing you don't want to do. So you want to have clean, plain boxes. At Walmart, they have smaller boxes like 10 by 12 by 15, 6 by 6 by 6. I think there's like a 7 by 8 by 3 or something box there. Those plain, they say Pen and Gear on them. Even though they have Walmart on them, I usually just fold it so you don't see Walmart. But it's not the end of the world, because that's a shipping box. That's what it's made for. So those boxes are totally fine. At Uline, I go ahead and I order a variety of sizes. So I've got 4 by 4 by 4, 4 by 4 by 6, 4 by 4 by 8. Those are perfect for beauty items, like it'll hold shampoos. Then I've got like a 12 by 9 by 3, 12 by 9 by 4. I have all different sizes. You do have to order them in 25, but let me tell you, those 25 go real fast. So if I have like a big item that I've purchased, or just any item that I've purchased a lot of that I'm going to FBM, as soon as I get home, I go ahead and measure it and I place an order for Uline boxes. In addition to that, there are some free supplies that you can get from the post office and the UPS. So from the post office, you can get priority boxes. So there's flat rate envelopes, there's flat rate boxes, and then there's priority boxes. They come in, as far as I know, 2 different sizes. So there's a 6 by 7 by 7 and a 12 by 12 by 8 size box. They are not flat rate, and this is really important. They're just any priority shipping label you can stick on that box. But if you have a flat rate box, you have to buy a flat rate shipping label. That means you have to pay the flat rate, whatever that happens to be. I find it to be kind of expensive, so I don't personally do the flat rate. The only flat rate I do is the padded envelopes. And again, these boxes are free from the post office. You can just order online for free. I have a stamps.com account, but I think you could just make a free post office account and order them that way. If at the end of Q4 you have too many or you didn't use them, just take them back to your local post office. I have done that in the past. On UPS, you make a free business account at ups.com. And then once you've done that, you might need to call them. I had to call them to get it fully set up. But once I had it set up, you can go ahead and order what they call security boxes. Now, online, there's not a photo of them, but they are just plain cardboard boxes. They're like 9x3 by 7 or something, or 6. And then there's a little bit bigger one. It's like 12x9x3 or something. But they hold a lot of stuff, and those are free boxes. You can also get free Rolo or thermal printer labels from them for your shipping labels. Take advantage of any of the free supplies you possibly can. Since we're shipping to UPS through UPS anyways, that's why they are offering these to us, because we use them to ship. After shipping supplies, the next best thing you can do to prep for Q4 is by figuring out your capital situation. So it's going to vary by each seller and person based on their business and how much capital they have to put into it. So there's no like right way to do it. But remember what I said about everything selling. However much stock you think you're going to need, you need to double or triple it. When I ask new sellers or people after their first Q4, the main thing they always say is that they didn't have enough stock. Because stuff is flying off your storefront shelves, you're going to need more stock than you possibly think. So you could run out of stock as early as late November if you don't have enough stuff. So figure out what that means as far as capital. In an ideal world, you would not pull any profit out of your business starting now through the end of December. And in January, you can have all the profit that you made and spend how you want to. But if you're able to keep rolling over that profit into more money, more inventory for your business, it's going to pay off in the end. While everything sells during Q4, that doesn't necessarily just mean toys. Now, I love toys. I do focus highly on toys, but some of my top sellers last year were beauty items. I've got home items, grocery items, and of course, toys. So you want to make sure you're spreading out across everything, because as people are shopping for, their grandkids, their son, daughter, whatever, they're also buying toothpaste, coffee, whatever else they need from Amazon. So make sure you have a wide variety of product. That's important all the time, but it's especially important during Q4 because it's all going to sell. Now, I'm saying it's all going to sell, but you still do need to have like some rank guidelines. If something doesn't have a rank, that usually means it's not selling. So it's not necessarily a good idea to buy it because it may not sell. When I'm out scanning during Q4, I see the seasonal stuff. If it doesn't have a rank the first time I scan it, I just go ahead and I scan it the next week and the next week, and I keep an eye on it, especially if I think it's going to be good. I do not hold stuff, buy stuff and hold it and hope that it's going to sell. I don't assume anything because I've been burned in the past by assuming this product or this brand or this movie toy is going to be really hot, and it ends up not being it. So definitely I don't recommend buying stuff now and holding it for Q4. I recommend buying stuff now that's selling right now, flipping that profit into more inventory and more inventory and more inventory versus holding out and hoping something's going to sell. And now you've tied up that inventory, that capital that you could be using on other items. Right now, stores are finishing up their holiday resets for toy aisles. So you're probably going to see, like I saw in Walmart, a lot of toys that are marked down on clearance. The thing is that those are marked down chain wide. They're getting rid of it because they're putting new toys in there. So what that means is that every other seller is it and sell it. And normally it would be fine, right? If we're all selling, if the thing's selling for $50, I can get it for now $10. I'm going to make even more profit, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot of sellers out there who go, ooh, now I can offer it for less because that's going to make me win the buy box. That's not true at all. It's not going to make you win the buy box. You would have won the buy box at $50, just like it was selling over the year at $50. What happens is other sellers do that, then the price tanking starts, and now you've got this product that you've bought that you thought was going to be great, but so did every other seller, and now it's just price tanking. And unfortunately, that could not rebound in price until like February, April of next year, because that's how much stock is out there. People buy a lot of stuff. I'm sure you've seen on social media sellers fill their car with clearance find. Those are now going to be, unless they're just fine taking, a small profit or whatever, it's just going to sit. The other thing to watch out for, if you have stock currently and you see it go on clearance, you might want to just cut and run now before the price tanks even further, because whenever sellers can find stuff on clearance, not all sellers, but unfortunately a majority of them, they'll start lowering the price. So if you can sell it right now at the buy box price and you see it on clearance, you might need to take that, because it's only going to get worse since other sellers found it cheaper. When you're out scanning, make sure you're using Keepa. You'll hear every seller say Keepa is a must for selling on Amazon. You need that data to help you make your decisions, especially if you think something is too good to be true. So I use Keepa to check historical sales rank, especially on seasonal items. So when you're out there and you see a seasonal item, check the rank, what it was last year, and see, does it improve or not? That's not always going to be an indicator that it's going to be good this year, because things happen, things change, tastes change, but it does help you to see how it might sell. If you're looking at Keepa and you see that the offer count is going up, meaning more sellers are on it, there's more offers for it, you will also typically see the price trending down, because when there's more sellers, there's more instances of tanking the price. So that's one thing to look at. If you see that trend when you scan it, it's probably not a good buy, because it's going to keep going up in offers and down in price. So by all means, feel free to take risks, but take calculated risks and limit them. I test buy everything. Just because something's really good right now doesn't mean if I buy 20 of them, it's going to continue to be good. So I'll buy 4. If those 4 are selling for the price I wanted it, then I'll go buy some more, right? Then I'll start my replan. But you want to make sure that you're testing everything and taking calculated risks if you are going to take those risks, because you're going to need all that capital, because remember, everything sells. When I'm out sourcing for Q4, I'm just sourcing my regular products that I already would, and I'm adding in those seasonal items. The other thing that I changed sourcing wise is I'm sourcing more often. So throughout the year, I'll source 2, maybe 3 times a month. But during Q4, I'm sourcing 1 to 2 times a week. I'm sending in shipments every week to get as much stock as I possibly can into Amazon. During Q4, there's a little bit less price tanking. It's still happening. They just sell out so fast that it doesn't feel like it's happening as much as the rest of the year, with that one caveat of the clearance stuff, because that does take a hit and it's hard to rebound from. Other things you want to watch out for are Black Friday sales specifically, because those tend to tank fast. I'm speaking from experience of all my Target Black Friday deals that I didn't sell until April of 2023. And I sold them either at a loss or break even. So learn from me, beware of those Black Friday sales. That doesn't mean you can't participate in them, but don't buy a lot. And if you see the tanking happen, just return it to the store. I don't know why people are so against returning stuff to the store, but the stores have a return policy. I didn't do anything outside of their policy, so I'm going to return it, get my money back, and buy other things. The other thing with holiday candy specifically, it's great to do, but you have to get in early or you'll be out last, because what happens is it's selling for high when it first hits the store, and then it'll go down in price, and then it'll come back up as all the other sellers have sold out. The price will start to come back up, but it's usually really close to the holiday that the item is for, which is why you want to be FBMing it. If this is your first or second Q4 selling on Amazon, I have a retail arbitrage guide to Q4. It's updated for 2023. It has how to source the best sales, because they're not Black Friday sales, and how it shows you breakdowns of what I've actually bought. It's really like a little retail arbitrage 101 course in an e-guide. So it has everything you need to know about Amazon selling and Q4 specifically. So you can check that out at my website, yoursellingguide.com, if you want to get my retail arbitrage guide to Q4. The last thing you can do to prepare for Q4 now is get comfortable with FBMing. So I've sprinkled it in a lot of different episodes and throughout this episode, but FBM is so profitable. You're going to make so much money doing FBM, and here's why. if I buy something and I send it into Amazon, that's going to be a 2 to 3 weeks before it even probably sells, right? Sometimes this stuff sells while it's still sitting in your driveway waiting for UPS to pick it up, but that's kind of the oddball here and there of a really hot product. What happens is if you list it FBM, you can sell it today, tomorrow, this week, and now you know it's hot and you can go get more of them and sell more of them. Whereas FBA, it's going to take a while. You might not sell it as fast because the availability date to the customer is further out, a variety of different things. But with FBM, you can chase stuff down, and who doesn't love a chase? You can sell more of it and make a lot of profit. For me, seller board is so important when it comes to FBM because it breaks down the shipping costs. So Amazon is really hard to figure out how much profit you actually made by looking in your Amazon dashboard. But with seller board, it breaks it down on that item you sold. It adds in whatever your shipping label costs in Amazon. So you can see, are you really making a profit on this thing? And now you know, oh, yes, I am making a profit. And then you're going to go out and buy more of it. Or, oh, shoot, I only made a quarter profit. I'm done selling that item. I've done that. Now, here's a look at my top items that I've sold this year from seller board. And I'm going to show you how 50% of those items, my most profitable items, are FBM items. So 5 of the 10 I sold FBA and 5 of them are FBM. But when you look at the profit, if I add it all up, 85% of my profit is coming from those FBM items. So if you're scared to FBM, you are leaving so much money on the table. And you really, really, really believe me when I tell you, because I was scared too, you really want to get over that fear and do it anyways. Ideal items for FBM when you're starting out and you're uncomfortable with it is small, lightweight, fits in a padded envelope or a small box, and it's going to be under a pound. Under a pound gives you better shipping prices through Amazon and the post office or even UPS, because once you start to get those higher weights, it becomes a little more costly. But if you're getting it under a pound, you can throw it in a padded envelope, and you know it might be $5, maybe $6 at the very most, and that's if it's getting up to 16 ounces. It's going to be inexpensive to ship. And just factor that shipping price into it. So if something says it's going to make $10 profit, factor that 5 of that is for your shipping, and now you got a $5 profitable item. Anytime you can get more of something and it's selling fast is another great way to FBM. So I sold a lot of cough drops earlier in the year, and I could just go get them at Walmart super easy anytime. So that was an ideal lightweight item to sell. Also, this happens a lot during Q4, but items will sell out on Amazon and they're like really profitable right now. But if you were to send them in to Amazon, by the time they became available and everything, they might not be profitable. Amazon might have gotten more stock, but you want to be able to sell stuff right now, like right in the instant that it's really hot and everyone wants it and the price has gone up because Amazon sold out. That happens a lot, I'm telling you. So you're going to want to FBM those items and make that profit right now. Because people are mostly shopping for gifts and stuff, you don't get a whole lot of returns until January, but you have less returns overall. The percentage might feel a little high, but that's also because you've sold a lot of stuff during Q4. So you have a little bit less fear of returns. Another ideal situation for FBM is if it's currently sold out on Amazon. So you would be the only offer. And if you can get it sold right away, you can probably sell a lot of them before anyone else comes on the offer. Other reasons to consider doing FBM is that if something happens, the price tanks or Amazon comes back on it, whatever the situation is, you can just return it to the store. You don't have to ask for it back from Amazon or just cut your losses and take a hit in Amazon. Like I mentioned, it feels like you're making profit faster because you're able to send the orders out right away, meaning you can get your money back into your available balance right away. So if I send an order out to a customer today, whenever they get it, so today is Friday, let's say they get it next Wednesday, 7 days from next Wednesday is when that money is going to be in my account available to me. That matters. That is the same thing on FBA. So even if it's sent to FBA, it's sent out to the customer, it got delivered to the customer, it'd be 7 days. But then we're adding in that whole extra shipping to Amazon, processing through the warehouses, FC transfer, all that stuff that's got to happen before it ships out. So FBM feels like you're getting your money back and your profit faster. It also has less fees because you're not paying the pick and pack FBA fee. You're just paying that referral fee to Amazon. So you can make more profit in some cases. Then there's the holiday cutoff. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but if you're going to send stuff FBA, if it's for Halloween specific, like Halloween themed, it has to be in, you have to send it to the warehouse pretty much that first week of October. Otherwise, there's a potential that it might not get to the customer by Halloween. Same thing with Christmas. Christmas specific, not toys, but Christmas specific items. So candies, kitchen stuff that have trees on it, that kind of stuff. So that it's got to be into the warehouse by the first week of December. Otherwise, you're running into that case where it might not get to the customer before Christmas, in which case, why are they going to order it? Now, if you have a lot of candy left over, it might start selling in April, May, June, but that's a long time to wait and hold that stuff. So when you're FBMing, you can ship it those 2 weeks before Christmas are when most of the customers are shopping. So you can still get all of those sales and make more money if you're FBMing versus you have what you have in the warehouse with FBA. And now you're kind of like, that's all you got if you're not going to FBM. I have on my YouTube channel, Nikki Kirk, I have an FBM 101 video. It's going to be right there in the Q4 playlist if you want to find it. It goes through how to do your shipping templates. If you watch that video, set up the templates how I have mine set up. Just put something up. Put one item, one lightweight small item up for FBM so that you can see that it's not actually that scary. Because believe me, I'm telling you, it's worth it. Trust me, you're going to want to do it. So you might as well start now. So that's it for this episode of How to Prepare for Q4. As I said, I'll be back next week with Becky, where we're going to get into all of your questions and more Q4 prep that you can do right now. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching it on YouTube, will you do me a favor and follow or subscribe? You can also find me at Your Selling Guide on Instagram, where I'm posting stuff throughout the week, so we can hang out there as well. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me on Instagram or just email me podcast@yoursellingguide.com. There is nobody who can't be on the podcast, whether you're a new seller, you've been at it for a little bit, or you've been at it for 10 plus years. I want to hear from you and let's tell your story. Until next time, happy sourcing.